Welcome to everyone out there. This is Stan The Annuity Man with the co-founder of Annuities.direct. I call him Jimmy.direct because he has a new name. We really appreciate you showing up tonight for the Q&A, and this will be a wild one because get your questions ready. We're going to go 110 miles an hour. I'm going to do something unique. I'm going to be very blunt and to the point, and I'm sure that that will shock a lot of you out there. But just to get started and just so that we can show off our brand new website, the first consumer direct website out there, I turn it over to my partner, Jimmy.direct.
All right, I want to welcome everybody as well. Thanks for tuning in. If you want to start asking your questions, feel free to do so. I'm just going to do a kind of a brief overview of what we've talked about throughout the last 3 webinars, which is we've covered SPIA, which is a single premium immediate annuities. We've covered DIA, which is a deferred income annuity, QLAC, which is a qualified longevity annuity contract, and MIGAs we covered on Tuesday night, which is a multi-year guaranteed annuity. And all of these can be found on the homepage, which is what should be on your screen currently. And you can see that basically you can get to any of the 4 websites right here in the menu. And you can run a quote from any of those. The video in the center is just an introduction to what Annuities.direct is all about, which, as Stan said, is a direct-to-consumer site for purchasing annuities. We're proud of that. We've spent a lot of time putting all of this together. You can see you can order free annuity manuals. If you click on there, it'll take you to any of the manuals that are available. You can get to all 4 sites here. And you can get a quote down here at the bottom by clicking on I want income now, income later, IRA, and MIGAs, so you can see all of those. And remember, the Comdex report, which is the composite of the 4 rating services, you can download that free right here. It's an Excel spreadsheet that allows you to look at the ratings of each of the insurance companies that show up on the quotes. And the fun part of it is you do get to run your own quote, but the most important part is getting to understand and control the ability to put money into an annuity contract that fits your needs and not an agent's needs, but puts you first as far as what you're trying to accomplish. So with that brief overview, Stan, I'm going to give it back to you.
Super. The first question that came in is the perfect start. The guy asked, some guy, I'm not going to mention his name, I don't want to embarrass him in front of all these people. But he asked, well, Stan, if you're an agent, and yes, I am an agent, and I'm the top agent in the country. Sounds like Donald Trump, but that is true. I'm telling some of the stuff he says isn't true, but I'm the top agent in the country. Why would you put together and team with Jimmy.direct to launch a consumer direct site? It's because it needs to be there. You know, think about the world that you used to live in where you had to call the Dean Witter, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch broker to buy stocks. You couldn't just go to E-Trade and buy your stocks, or you couldn't go to Vanguard and buy the mutual funds or ETFs. Up until now, annuities, you had to go through some idiot agent in most cases. Most agents, by the way, are flat-out idiots, and the ones out there listening, you probably are one, and I apologize for that. But here's the point. You need to be able to make your own decision on your own terms without some guy that sells enough. He gets to go on a trip to Bora Bora, one size fits all. You need to be able to get your quotes on your own terms. You can get quotes on Annuities.direct anonymously. And by the way, Jim, go to the direct news portion. We do replay these webinars in case I'm going way too fast for you. And we also do podcasts that can be replayed as well with some of the top industry experts, like the president of Canex, Tommy Hagna. We're getting ready to do one with Paul Merriman. We're getting ready to do one with Cheryl Moore about indexed annuities. We're going to cover the gamut, and it's going to be a free-for-all. So you can go to the Annuities.direct site. You can replay these at your leisure. We're completely blown away with how many replays are happening. But you know, this is always going to be updated. We're always going to be adding podcasts. I think we've got, probably 10 podcasts that are already scheduled for May, so that should be fun. So with that, Jim, start hitting me with some questions.
All right, one of the questions is a single premium immediate annuity, or SPIA. Can you put money in in other words, if you wanted to kind of add money to your account, can you do that after you establish the initial contract?
No. SPIAs and SPIAs typically do not allow any premium added. Some will allow you to add money up until the time the income starts. So with the SPIA, that's going to be either 30 days or 13 months. Okay, once the income starts, you cannot add money. And with a lot of them, you can't even add money, while you're deferring for that 30 days or 13 months. But in most cases, it's actually better. If you're going to add money, if you say, Stan, I'm going to do $100,000 this year and $100,000 next year, I'm going to ladder the purchase. Because these are commodity products, because you want to always quote all of the companies out there to get the highest contractual guarantee, every single time you buy an immediate annuity, you should be shopping all the carriers. Don't fall in love with the carrier. Fall in love with the contractual guarantee. That's very important. Now, no offense to the agents out there that only represent one carrier, but that's like going to a restaurant and all they serve is chicken. If you don't like chicken, then you're out of luck. With annuities, they're commodities. In one week, New York Life and Pac Life might have the highest immediate annuity quotes, and then the next week it might be Mass Mutual and Lincoln and MetLife. It changes. It's like a gallon of milk. Think of annuity quotes like a gallon of milk. About every 7 to 10 days, you're going to have to re-quote that to get the highest contractual guarantee. So when you buy a SPIA, don't think about adding to it. Just think about, okay, I got more money to put into a SPIA. At that point in time, I'm going to go to annuities.direct, SPIA.direct, and I'm going to shop for the highest contractual guaranteed rates, because the great part about this site and these sites, these are live feeds you're getting. When you get a quote from annuities.direct or SPIA.direct or DIAS.direct or QLife.direct or MIGA, all of these are real time. Real time. We have connected with all of the carriers. These quotes are coming in real time. So this isn't some average like a lot of sites that are out there averaging and giving you kind of a misleading number. These are real numbers. So pretty excited. That's a pretty long answer, but it was a good one.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
With that, taking that long answer as a follow-up to that, what's the minimum that I can put into a SPIA contract?
Well, typically the minimum premium amount that single premium immediate annuity carriers offer is around $10,000. It could be a little bit less, but you do have to run the quote numbers and to see if that even makes sense, because over a lifetime, what does $10,000 equate into? I mean, we'll quote everything. I mean, our systems will quote anything you need. And I do want to point out that even though this is annuities.direct site, if you want to contact me, since I'm a co-founder with Jimmy.direct here, I mean, I will walk you through. I will help you fully understand these. What we're trying to do here is teach you how to fish. Initially, you might not know how to fish for annuities. I'll help you. The next round, you might not need me. But the first round, you might need me, and that's okay. If you don't know who I am, I'm the walking middle finger of annuity truth. I'm the grim reaper of brutal facts. I'm not going to steer you to anything. I'm going to tell you the truth. And by the way, if you don't need an annuity, I'm going to tell you that too. So get ready to be told the truth. The reason you tell the truth, why? Because you don't have to remember anything, right? So, I mean, annuities aren't investments. They're transfer risk contractual guarantees. They're commodity products. We represent everybody, and we'll give you the highest contractual guarantees. And if you need, don't be shy to reach out, get the books, contact me, call me, etc. I can help you through without steering you to some ridiculous overpriced product.
If I want to buy a QLAC, am I limited to just myself, or can I contribute for my spouse as well?
Well, with the QLAC, it's you're using qualified assets. You're using IRA assets, and an IRA, you own it. There's only one owner of an IRA, right? Everybody nod their head. Yes, that's true. But what a QLAC allows you to do is it's a future pension plan, which you can defer from age 71 to 85. You can choose when you want to defer and turn on the income stream. But the good part about QLAC is that you can add your spouse as a joint annuitant. Annuitant means that both of you would then get a lifetime income stream. So when you keel over and your Learjet hits the mountain, your wife would get the continuation of that income stream uninterrupted and unchanged, even though you're the owner of that IRA. I think the Treasury Department and the Department of Labor, who are now seem to be all in with the financial services businesses, the QLAC was their first foray into it, and this was actually their best thing. And the best product that they put out. It's a great future income product. You can lower your taxes a little bit on your RMDs, but for me, it's just a transfer risk pension that goes nicely with your Social Security, if you have, if you've turned that on, or when you're going to turn that on, if you have a pension, if you have dividend-paying stocks, REITs, etc. This is a nice gap filler to hopefully enhance your lifestyle going down the road. Because remember this: there's no U-Hauls behind hearses. Everybody repeat after me: there's no U-Hauls behind hearses. So enjoy your life. QLAC will help you do that because you can get an extra income stream for the rest of your life, hopefully to combat inflation and put you on a cruise ship a little bit more than you plan on it.
Yeah, it's funny that you say all that, because I was in my office with a client before I got on the webinar tonight, and one of the comments that he made was, so if I buy a QLAC and I don't really want the income until 85, it's sort of like giving the federal government a middle finger on my RMD. I said, well, that's kind of one way to look at it, but
look at that as a legal middle finger. We all like flipping the middle fingers, right? I mean, everybody nod your head. This is one that you can do to the IRS, and they can't do anything about it, which is a good thing.
Taking since this question kind of goes off of the beaten path a little bit, is there a way that I can contribute more than $125,000 to a QLAC?
The answer to that is in the future, yes. Right now, the rules are 25% of your total IRA qualified assets, or $125,000, whichever is less. But they are going to start raising it in about 2 to 3 years. They haven't been very specific. They, meaning the Department of Labor and the IRS, has not been specific about how much they're going to raise the limitation. But they will, I think, every 3 years is what I've been told by my internals at DC on what they're going to do. So in the future, yes. For now, no. But I'm going to tell you something. I got an interesting take on this. I actually think that the rule in place, which is 25% of your IRA or $125,000, whichever's less, is actually a good thing because it's an asset allocation, right? I mean, you're not going all in. You're taking a portion of your IRA, you're earmarking it for future income. You can attach your spouse as a joint annuitant. I think that's a good allocation, because one of the things I see all the time that drives me crazy, and the reason I look so mad in all my pictures, is people have a tendency to put too much money into annuities. And I know the sales gods have rolled over in their grave, but that's why I'm Stan The Annuity Man. That's the reason we're doing the annuities.direct, is we want people to understand proportion, allocation, be able to say, you know what, how much would 100,000? Instead of an agent trying to say, no, don't do 100, do 500. Go with your gut feel. In a lot of cases, it's better to ladder a purchase in or just tiptoe in and buy in increments, because you have to understand, we are in a new interest rate environment. Some people call it low. It might not be. It might be normal, right? But if you think and you hope that interest rates are going to rise, then you don't want to go all in on all your annuity purchases. You might want to ladder it. So I actually think QLAC, the governor, the governor on that speeding, you can't speed with a QLAC. They're going to say, hey, 125 is all you get. And by the way, I think that's a really good thing.
Okay, I have to ask you your favorite question, because I know how much you love this question.
I love the questions. What is it?
What is your favorite annuity for a SPIA?
Great question, but really not a good one. There is none. My favorite SPIA is the one that provides the highest contractual guarantee with the best rated company. And I don't know which one that is until you run the quote. So if you were expecting me to say Northwestern Mutual or New York Life or Mass Mutual or MetLife or Prudential or Pac Life or Lincoln or whoever, I'm not going to do that. And anyone who does that is trying to go on a trip to Bora Bora to drink for free with their girlfriend while their wife's out of town. I'm going to tell you this right now. There is no perfect annuity. There is no favorite company out there, period. What you buy is contractual guarantees. You own an annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. The might do is the hypothetical, theoretical, projected, back-tested, hopeful agent return scenarios that you shouldn't buy. You buy it for Armageddon. You buy it worst-case scenario. You buy it because the bomb's going to go off. You buy it because you know what it's going to do. So the question is, Stan, what's your favorite SPIA? It's the one that finishes first with the highest contractual guarantees when you run the quote. Period. End of story. My apologies to the captive agents out there, but that is just flat out annuity fact.
I had to ask because I knew it would get you.
I'm a tad intense when that question comes because people are like, well, what do you think about Mass Mutual? I love Mass Mutual. Fantastic. But if they don't finish first, then who cares?
All right, let's shift gears back to your other favorite question.
All right.
I'm looking at buying a MIGA. Should I wait for interest rates to go up from the Fed?
Should you wait for interest rates? Now, everybody that can time interest rates, raise your hand. Either click the button or raise your hand. Okay. Nobody clicked. Nobody raised their hand. If one of you did, put your hand down because nobody knows about interest rates. Now, what we are doing and what we are recommending is that, and go to the MIGA site real quick, Jim. We'll just show people. We did this last night on the MIGA. And we had a great MIGA event last night. I mean, they're writing about it. It was ahead of the Cruise Fiorina story. It was so good. What we're telling people is because MIGAs are primarily based on the 10-year Treasury. 10-year Treasury, you go, well, Stan, 10-year Treasury is not that high. It's higher than every other 10-year Treasury. Yes, it's less than 2%. But what we're doing is we're saying anything 5 years and in. So a 5-year MIGA guarantees a 3% annual return for that 5 years. You say, well, Stan, that's not that good. Yes, it is. When the 10-year Treasury is less than 2, 3% is good. Get your expectations in line with reality. Don't let some gunslinger say, well, an index annuity could get you all the upside with none of the downside. That's crap. Okay, as I said on a seminar, I told Jimmy Dodd, I said, I'm not going to say this. I'm going to say this. Okay. You can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter. And I can say that again. You can't polish a turd, but you can roll it in glitter. That's the indexed annuity presentation. When they start saying all the upside with none of the downside, that's just garbage. Indexed annuities were designed to compete with CDs in 1995, and that's exactly what they do. And there's a very good mathematical factual argument that a MIGA will outperform it, an indexed annuity. Why? Because the yield is guaranteed. So if you go to MIGA, put in Florida on the state, and then let's just do a Florida 5-year. Let's just throw a Florida 5-year, and let's just look at the 5-year. It's a 3%. He's going to pull it up unless it changed. I don't think it changed today, but and on MIGA you can just run. You can run these all day. You didn't put a 5-year in. Put 5 in the rate guarantee, Jim. There you go. There's 5 on the 5-year.
Make that bigger for me, Stan. That's how my eyesight's going.
All right, 5-year 3.10 is the highest. This Atlantic Coast just came out with something that looks like today. So 3.10 for 5 years. No annual fees. Someone asked me the other night, emailed me after the webinar, is the interest simple interest or compound? It's compound interest. The 8th wonder of the world, it's compound interest. So, I mean, if you bought CDs in your lifetime, you cannot say in good faith that you hate annuities because a MIGA is a CD. It functions just like it, okay? So to answer your question, on the interest rates, we're just shortening the duration. We're doing 3, 4, and 5-year ladders. A 3-year will get you 2%. A 4-year will get you 2.4%. A 5-year will get you 3 to 3.1%. And by the way, annuities are regulated at the state level, so each state has to approve the annuities for sale in that state. And MIGA.direct, one of the great sites of all time, it will allow you to filter by your state and show you exactly what's available for purchase in that state. So, once again, if you have any questions about that, call me. But on the interest rate side, don't be fancy. Just don't go past 5 years, okay?
All right. Can I change the start date after a purchase of a QLAC?
QLACs and DIAs, which are pretty much the same thing. A deferred income annuity is a QLAC outside of an IRA or within an IRA up to age 70 and a half. They're the same thing. It's called a longevity annuity as well. And right, I got to stop here and go, why in the world, you got to be asking, why in the world would the industry name this thing 3 or 4 different things? It's the annuity industry. They're not too bright, okay? But to answer your question, in most QLAC contracts and most DIA contracts, they allow you to change the income start date one time. One time. So make it a good one. Okay, so when you fill out the application with a DIA or a QLAC, which is pretty much the same product, the only difference is QLAC has to be an IRA, right? DIA can be too, but QLAC allows you to defer past past age 70 and a half. That's what makes a QLAC unique. But when you fill out the application, you do have to dictate at that point in time in the contract what date you plan on turning the income stream on. But you do have one time you can change that within the contract date with most of these majority of these policies.
I'm going to ask this question only because it's on the screen, but you can punt if you want. But are Israeli bonds priced at a guaranteed rate of 5.5% for a 65-year-old man a competitive product?
No. What are you doing? Why are you on this webinar? I mean, honest to goodness, we're talking about United States domicile annuities backed by the full faith and credit of carriers that are followed by 4 rating services and the convex rankings, which takes the algorithm of the 4 rating services and gives it a number. And you're talking about Israeli bonds. You're on the wrong webinar. Don't be fancy. Don't chase yield. Put your level expectation in line with reality. Okay? In a low interest rate world, people make big mistakes chasing yield. Everybody nod their head. It's true. I mean, it is what it is. So, you know, if you're trying to do that, if you are out there right now and you're saying, Stan, I really need 4 to 5 to 6% guaranteed. You know what? I need 6-pack abs too. But that's not going to happen. We have to be realistic about the 10-year Treasury, where rates are, where rates will possibly be, and just keep your duration short and tread water for the time being. Which leads me to one other thing. He's talking about 5% Israeli bonds. I don't even want to talk about that. But let's talk about an annuity kind of bait and switch that's out there. They're talking about income riders at 6 and 7%. Stan, I just bought an annuity for 8% yield. No, you didn't. You bought an income rider. It's okay, but it's for future income. But that 8% is monopoly money in a phantom account that you can only use for income. You can't peel off the interest. You can't transfer that yummy lump sum, and you can't cash in that lump sum. There's a lot of people that's been sold a bill of goods by some gunslinger at a bad chicken dinner seminar thinking they're getting 7% yield when the 10-year Treasury is less than 2. Hello. Come on now, people. You're smarter than that. There is no 7% yield. Jimmy Carter's building houses for the poor. He is not propping up interest rates, period.
All right, I have a very good question that he's not trying to irritate you, Stan, but he said you sound negative when you talked about fixed annuities or fixed rate annuities. Do you sell them, and are they worth considering?
I sell all annuities. I mean, I literally, I'm the number one guy in the country. I sell them all. I sell a ton. So let's go through them. Do I sell immediate annuities? Absolutely. For income now purposes. Deferred income annuities and QLACs are for income later. Income riders are for income later. I hold my nose because they have to be attached to index annuities. And that's how if you say, Stan, do you sell index annuities? Yes, but I hold my nose and I grab a vomit bag because they have to be attached to an index annuity. Because right now, the only 2 places you can buy a rider is attached to an index annuity or variable annuity, and the variable annuities just don't have the contractual guarantees that the riders do with index annuities. I sell MIGAs, love MIGAs, just like I'm 5 years in, okay? Charitable gift annuities, love them, don't sell them, but because they're charitable, but you need to look at those as well. So I love them all. What I don't like is people thinking they're buying the dreams, people thinking they're beating the system, that people think they're finding a price anomaly, that people are believing what an agent's telling them. Okay? You're buying contractual guarantees. Annuities are not investments. Annuities are transfer of risk products that are non-correlated assets. If you want market growth, do not buy an annuity. And that includes the beloved variable and indexed annuity. If you want mutual funds, go buy mutual funds. Okay? The only variable annuity that Jimmy Dot and I think even makes sense is a no-load variable annuity with Jefferson National. Keyword, no load, $20 a month fee, 100% liquidity. And by the way, just to kind of give you some insight going forward, the indexed annuity side, we have been, when we launched this project, we were contacted by a couple of carriers that are building products for us right now that are going to be killer. They're going to be the no commission, pro customer, not all this nonsense you see at the Bad Chicken Dinner seminar and I would probably say by the end of the year those will be on annuities.direct. But I'm just not a fan of how annuities are pitched and sold and unregulated out there. And that's the reason the DOL just recently stepped in and said no more. That was the impetus for all of this.
And I think that, I'll chime in by saying that I've known Stan for a very long time. And, and I have the same problem when I talk about equities and some of the things that I speak about on a regular basis and write about. And that is, don't confuse passion for the truth as anger towards products. It's the fact that people misconstrue or say things that aren't true, I think that bring some of the passion to the surface, whether it's from Stan, myself, or other people that really want people to get a fair shake. And I think that's what everybody really wants in the end is, integrity, that they can find the right products, they can find the things that fit what they're doing. And, it's sort of like when someone asked me, even this morning, someone asked me, Jim, should I buy a municipal bond from the state of Florida yielding 3.1%, or should I buy a MIGA at 3%? Well, that's an apple and an orange. It comes down to what do you want? What are you trying to achieve relative to the asset? And do you want guarantees, or do you want, the fact that you own something that could actually fluctuate in value? There's two different, you can't compare an apple and an orange and say one's better than the other. It's what mates what you're trying to do. I think that's the ultimate objective that even
absolutely. And I'm not going to, this is who I am, and this is one of the reasons that, you either like dealing with me or you don't. I think it's a good that we put together annuities.direct. If you want to do it yourself, fine. But I'm going to shoot this thing straight. And the thing that you need to know about annuities, and don't get fancy, is you have to ask yourself two questions. Number one, what do you want the money to contractually do? Underline the word contractually. And number two, when do you want those contractual guarantees to start? That's it. From those two questions, we can tell you if you need an annuity or not. Now, if you come back and say, I need market growth in 7%, you don't need an annuity because it doesn't exist. Okay? But if you say, you know what, Stan, I need income and I need it to start in 5 years, that's an annuity. Or, hey, Stan, I want to protect the principal and get some yield, that's an annuity. I want to transfer risk, lower my RMDs, and set up a lifetime income stream for me and my wife, that's an annuity. That's a QLAC. Don't make it so complex. Don't try to run analysis beside an ETF. People ask me all the time, Stan, what's the ROI on a lifetime income annuity? What's the return on investment? Because investors are always obsessed with that. Well, I don't really know until you die. The second you die, I'll know, and I'll tell your beneficiaries at your funeral. But up until then, it's a transfer of risk. You're giving the money to the insurance company to provide you either principal protection, income for life, legacy, or some type of confinement care benefit. That's it. That's what annuities do. The acronym is PIL. I'll go through it again. P is for principal protection. I is income for life. L is for legacy. And the other L is for long-term care, confinement care. Those are the four things that annuities solve for. Notice there's no G for growth because they don't do that. Those are dreams sold. You buy an annuity for what it will do, not what it might do. One question I just saw, Jim, I want to talk about is someone asked about return of premium, and I got a couple questions about return of premium on MIGAs. Under the MIGA feed, you can choose return of premium, and really what that means is if you buy a 5-year MIGA, just like if you buy a 5-year CD, there's surrender charges each year if you want to get out in full. Okay, if you say I just want to cash out. What return of premium does is it wipes that out. It wipes those surrender charges out. But guess what the annuity company does? They give you a lower yield. There's no free lunch. They have the big buildings for a reason. They're not giving anything away. And any type of guarantee that you bolt onto an annuity, whether it's a inflation increase, a cost of living adjustment rider, an income rider, any of those things, they're going to adjust for that. So all of you out there already own the best inflation annuity on the planet. It's called Social Security. You already own it. And why is it the best? It's because it's political. They don't look at actuarial numbers. They just go, hey, it's election season, let's raise it. That's it. And whereas an annuity company is going to look at your life expectancy, and they're going to lower that initial payment if you add a cost of living adjustment rider to it.
All right, I'm 56 years old. I want to buy a QLAC now in my 401k. Am I subject to the penalty because I'm under 59 and a half?
The answer is no, because what you're going to do, first of all, there's two parts to this question. Number one, you have to find out if your 401k offers a QLAC inside of it. By the way, QLACs were actually designed for 401ks. The 401k administrators are going very, very slow to implement them for some reason. Ask them if you can buy it inside of your 401k. Number two, you're not going to turn the income stream on until later, so until after age 70 and a half with a QLAC. So the 59 and a half rule does not apply. And if they do not offer a QLAC inside of that 401k, find out if you can do a partial transfer into a rollover IRA. If you can purchase the QLAC inside of that IRA. I know that was kind of a tiered answer, but that question had a couple of legs to it.
If I purchase a QLAC this year using 25% of my IRA value and the IRA increases in value in the next couple of years, will I be able to purchase a second QLAC?
If they raise the minimum.
Yeah, the maximum is 125.
Yeah. At the time you if they raise the minimum, yes.
All right, Stan, you got Joe excited about the fact that there's going to be a no-load indexed annuity. He wants to know if he should wait till the end of the year for that to be out, or if one of the other annuities products that you've already discussed is better.
Well, let's go back to the goal. What's the goal of the asset? Please don't say market growth, Joe. Please don't say market growth, Joe. But if you want a little bit better than CD returns, possibly an indexed annuity will work. Okay, but don't think that because it's a stripped down indexed annuity that you're going to get market returns. If the planets align themselves, you might, but you still have to look at it as a little bit beefed up of a CD product. Now Jimmy Dott and I both met with the carriers. We're very excited about what they showed us, but proof's in the pudding. They got to put it out there and let us put it on the platform. In my opinion, it depends on what you want to do with the money. But if market growth is it, go do something else. Even if the indexed annuity, no load or no commissions on the platform, is still not going to get you the market growth you need.
It says, I don't think there's income growth inside of a QLAC as a question, is there? And if not, does it make sense to wait and purchase a QLAC when you're older?
It's a good question. Understand that there's no good answer to should you buy it now or should you wait. I will tell you this, the longer the money is held by the annuity company, the more that they will enhance the payout. In other words, the longer the money cooks at the annuity company, the more income stream you're going to get. So if you try to wait and time it, you're not going to get as high of a payment. So the longer, but that doesn't mean you should buy it. That doesn't mean pound the table, I need to buy one now and let the money cook. So there's no good answer to that, truly. If my only thing is, I'd say if you want to do that, ladder the purchase, you might buy 40 this year, 40 the next year, and then the remainder the following year, and have the income starting at different start dates. There's two ways to ladder, by the way. You can ladder the purchase date, and you can ladder the start date, and you can ladder both. So you could say, I want a $40,000 QLAC to start at age 75, a $40,000 QLAC to start at age 80, and what's the remainder of that? $45,000 to start at age 85. You can do that and buy them over a 3-year time period. And there's no good answer why to do that other than, hey, if rates do move up, then great, you're going to get a little bit better pricing.
And I think in that vein, having Stan and I have been around the industry a very long time, and one of the things that is interesting to me is the common question is, when should I buy a stock? When should I buy an annuity? When should I buy a bond? No matter what the investment is, what's the best time to buy it? To me, the best time to buy it is when it fits your needs. If the need is right now that I'm trying to plan for what my income stream is going to be down the road, then I need to start doing that today, not down the road, because the longer we procrastinate, the worse things seem to get. Plus, we also have no idea what tomorrow holds relative to what markets will do, what yields will do, or anything else will do. It's just a matter of putting yourself in a position of planning so that you have peace of mind. And I think that when you really step back and think about it, that's what we're all trying to get to, is peace of mind financially, so that we can achieve our financial goals to live the lifestyle that we want. Everything outside of that is really up for, I guess, negotiation and conversation. Sort of like someone came into my office today with a Donald Trump T-shirt on, and I said on the back of it, it would be even better if he had all the names of Little Marco and Lying Ted and all the others. But the point being is that you really want to sit down and say, what do you want? Stan said it, best in that, what do you want the money to contractually do, and when do you want it to start? Those are the two questions really you need to ask, and then it's easy to find the product to fit.
Hey, Jim, go to the annuities.direct. There was a podcast we did the other day that even Jim and I mean, we've been around the block. I mean, we're older than dirt. We just, after this podcast, it was unbelievable. It's the one that says annuities.direct podcast, the current state and future of the annuity. One in the top right-hand corner with Tom Hegna. I'm going to tell you guys right now, and ladies, listen to that, because Tom had an interest, and he's a great guy. He's written a lot of books. He understands the market. He's been around the block, but he had a really, really good take on what annuities really do. And annuities provide lifestyle, period. They're transfer risk products. You shouldn't put all your money there. A lot of you don't even need annuities. But what they do is they create lifestyle, and lifestyle is an income stream that you can never outlive. So we really enjoyed that one. We're going to have Tom on a lot. He's a big fan of annuities.direct. He's a big fan of our platform being direct to consumer. He thinks that's the future. We're very proud that he's on with us a lot. But that's a great podcast to listen to if you really want another take on how these products truly fit. And you got to understand, annuities were developed in the Roman times. That's how old they were. Roman soldiers were given annuities by the Roman Empire to take care of them and their family for their dutiful service. That's Annua is the Latin name. I didn't make good grade in that. I can't even pronounce it. But the point is, that's where annuities came from. And up until 1955 in this country, pretty much the only annuity type sold was an immediate annuity. Okay? And those are for income. So most of the time with annuities, you're solving for income or you're solving for principal protection. And income for Jimmy and I is income now or income later. It's really that simple. So good questions. What's the other questions out there, Jim?
Well, I just ran this. You can run the QLAC PDF. You can download it on the homepage, but someone said they were unable to get it to download.
Okay.
Which I don't know why that would be true, but
and let me interject here for everybody out there. I mean, we launched this site about a month ago, a little bit less than a month ago. To say that we've been getting a lot of traffic is a little bit of an understatement. We have been so thrilled, and obviously we try to prepare for all the traffic we thought was coming. We're doing the best we can. Let us know. I mean, it's going to get better and better and better. These sites are dynamic. They're going to change all the time. We listen to you. These sites actually were developed from a long time of doing national focus groups. Some of you out there might have been in some of them where you guys actually told us what you wanted it to look like. Yes, you guys chose the duck and all these animals. So, people always say, well, how did you come up with that? We didn't. The customer did. And so with that being said, we're still listening to you on, well, stand up like this or stand up like that, or I'd like it to show like this. And we're just so far ahead of the annuity industry. We're waiting for them to catch up to us technology-wise. They will, but we're waiting on them because they're still selling encyclopedias door to door. I mean, that's the annuity industry.
Yeah, and also remember that when you do these downloads, I'm going to do this on the screen so that you can see it, that depending on the browser you're in, I am in Google Chrome, so when I click on here, you can see that it's loading the PDF. It doesn't show to the screen. It's down here in the far left corner. You can see it says Qualified Simplified PDF. So that PDF is going to show up based on what browser you're in somewhere on the screen other than opening. So you have to actually click on the PDF to open it, and then it will open just like that, and you can actually view the PDF. You can print it. There's links inside the PDF, so as you're going through it, if you want to go back to the site, we designed these PDFs so that you could do that. Like if you wanted to get a live quote, You can actually click to that if you want to get more information, order a book, any of the things that you have. You have a question. If you have a question you want to ask, you just click on Have a Question, and it will actually take you back into the site and allow you to ask the question relative to that. So you can actually get into different components of this very simplistically. We really tried to make this as simple as possible, and as Stan said, we're happy to have your feedback as to how to make it better. And so you have to just kind of bear with us as we go along. If there's something that doesn't, please email me or Stan. You can email me, Jim, at annuities.direct, or you can email Stan at annuityman at annuities.direct. And either of us will be happy to send it to you. You can send it to questions at annuities.direct. We'll actually attach the PDF to an email and send it directly to you. So just shoot me an email, Wendy, and I'll make sure that you get that.
And so far, Jim, we have been able to answer all of your questions within the day you send it. Now, we're getting hundreds, and that's fine, but that's what I do kind of in the mornings. I'll answer your questions, but we turn these things around. So if you have something, let us know. And also, too, remember, reach out to me. I promise to be nice. I will be factual, as you can well imagine, and we can have a really good conversation of how these things fit if they don't fit. But yeah, don't hesitate to contact. This is such a new thing that, once again, we're here to help if needed. If not, you can go through the whole process and buy it yourself without us. And that in the future is what's going to happen.
Wendy, you can click on questions on here, send it to that, or Jim at annuities.direct. So JIM at annuities.direct.
Perfect.
And I'll make sure that you get the PDF. One of the questions I know you're going to love, Stan, is if customers can use this site and buy it direct, how do brokers protect their commissions?
Well, brokers can't protect their commissions. There are commissions on there. There's an agent of record. The agent of record on this is going to be a .direct Inc. agent of record. Similar to when you buy Select Quote life insurance from selectquote.com, if you've done that, there's an agent of record. You just never talk to them. We still have to look at the application to glance for suitability and things like that. We still have to do that under law. So there is an agent of record on there, and commissions are built into these products, so you're not going to see it deducted. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think that's transparent enough, but that's the way the annuity industry does it, and we can't change that right now. But these products, the simplistic ones, are very, very, very low commissions. They're one-time commissions, and the reason that everyone's trying to jam a indexed annuity or variable annuity down your throat is that's where the 7 to 10, 12% commission things are happening. I'm not saying they're all bad. I'm just saying that's the reason there's one size and one-trick ponies out there trying to just do that.
This is probably a good question because Stan and I have talked about this ad nauseum, especially during the development period of these sites, and that is, what other products, annuity products, do you think will appear on the annuities.direct sites?
Well, currently, go to the main screen and scroll down to the 4 that we have, like annuities.direct, and get down to the 4, and then here's my prediction, okay? This is what Jimmy Dot, I like calling him Jimmy Dot. I think that's the coolest name. And then again, I'm Stan the Annuity Man, so I'm a little biased. But you see these 4 things: SPIAs, DSQ, Lex MIGAs. I think by the end of the year, you're going to see the FIAS, which is fixed indexed annuities. You're going to see that in the no commission one that I mentioned. I think you're also going to see a version of a no-load variable annuity, which is the Jefferson National product or something similar to that. That would not surprise me. We've been contacted by a firm that does contingent deferred annuities that we're talking to, which is a unique product. But I think the 4th product that will probably be on here, where you can buy income riders direct. I don't have any time frames for any of that, but I think we're going to cover the gamut of anything that's contractually guaranteed. Okay. Now, no-load variable annuities is kind of an offshoot of that, but the reason that Jimmy and I want to do that is because we want people to understand that those products are out there, they're available, and that's what, when variable annuities were initially introduced by TIAA-CREF in 1955, it was for tax-deferred growth. And a true no-load variable annuity, I'm not talking about Vanguard Fidelity, okay? So stop it. I'm talking about Jefferson National that has over 350 choices. That really does give you true opportunity for tax-deferred growth. I think we're going to do that almost pro bono to put it up there just so that the people will know that that's available. I mean, it's no load. How do you make money? You don't. But the point is, I'm passionate about that product. Jimmy and I both know Mitch Kaplan, who runs that company, who was one of the founders of E-Trade. And we're big on annuities that are pro-customer. I mean, it's just simple as that. And most annuities are pro-customer. The unfortunate part is 75% of all annuities sold are indexed and variable, and most of them are square pegs into a round hole. And that's unfortunate.
It's I'm going to put on my equity hat for a second, Stan, just because I know how much you love when I do that.
I do. I love it.
If you're going to buy a variable annuity, I'm going to pull this thing over here for a second, just because I know Stan loves when I do this.
I do love this.
Drives him insane, but that's okay.
Wow, you're talking about going off-road. We're off-road now, people.
I've been in the equity world for 32 years, so I can't help it when people talk about certain things about market timing and all these wonderful things in life. So Stan brought up a variable annuity, and I'm going to share this with you because I think how important this is that you don't have to time the market. This is the S&P 500 chart, and it goes back. This chart actually goes back, but this is a monthly chart. So it's going all the way back. I can go all the way back to 1988 on SPY, which is a benchmark for the S&P 500. And my point of this is that this purple line is a 17-month moving average. If you own the S&P when the market is above it, and you're out of the S&P when it's below it, and that's all you did in a variable annuity, you would have averaged 12.8% over the last 70 years in the S&P 500. And there's no reason to try to time it. But if you're going to use a variable annuity, that's what they were built for. They were built for long-term investment strategies that allow money to accumulate on a tax-deferred basis without
no load.
And it's no load. I mean, the fees on a Jefferson National is $20 a year.
And the average fee on a variable annuity sold out there is 3% for the life of the policy.
And they have the Vanguard S&P 500 fund in this in the Jefferson National product, and it charges 32 bips in a variable annuity. That means 32 basis points, 0.32%. So if you put $1 million in there, you're going to pay roughly $3,200 a year in total fees, where in another annuity contract you'd pay upwards of $40,000 plus in fees. So it's just a point of contention where when you look at things that if you understand what you're doing, if you understand how you're packaging your portfolio, if you understand the objective, there are products that are designed to meet those objectives. The problem is we're chasing unicorns and building rainbows without any idea how to catch one or build one, and we think that it's all going to work. I'm off the path, Sam. I'm sorry for going off.
No, I actually am glad that Michael Jordan came to the game. And what you're seeing is, I mean, we've been around the block a little bit. I was with Morgan Stanley for a long time. Jim's managed money for 30 years. And you guys say, well, Stan, why are you guys in the annuity? Because we believe in contractual guarantees. We believe that there's a place for it. You would think that our message of contractual guarantees only would not be unique. It is. Everyone out there is selling dreams. You need to look at annuities for what they are, which are transfer risk products. I'm glad Jim showed you that, but that was a really good question, is where this is going. I'm going to tell you where this is going. Annuities in the future will all be sold direct. If you don't believe that, ask Walmart about the direct selling model that Amazon beat them to, even though Walmart had it there first. Annuities were going to be sold direct. The 10,000 baby boomers out there return every day, and people out there want some, not all, but some contractual guarantees. We just built this platform, put our money where our mouth is, to say, hey, you can do it on your own. You can get quotes real time. You can listen to podcasts. You can listen to webinars. You can get educated without being sold. You can put your fist down and know that we're not coming at you. We're going to educate you, and we're going to respect you so you can make a decision. And that decision, by the way, can be no, and that's fine. So Yeah, we're running out of time, Jim. 10 more minutes. Give me some questions. Hit me.
All right. Does a 5-year MIGA return the principal after 5 years?
Yes. The answer is yes. After the 5-year time period, we send you the check, period. Or if you don't want the check, you can 1035 exchange or direct exchange if it's an IRA to another MIGA or another annuity type product. IRS Section 1035 says you can transfer from one annuity to another without any taxation consequences, non-taxable event. But yeah, if you said, hey, I want it for 5 years, I want my money, yeah, at the time we send you the money back, if it's a non-qualified account, you'd have to pay taxes on the interest at that time, okay, if it's a non-IRA asset. Good question. You have full protection of principal and you get all of it back. Is that my site? That's my site. See, that's me. See, that's the way I look without
I want to do a couple housekeeping things because, Stan, we're bad about remembering this, and I want to throw some things.
Okay, let's do that.
One question that we're asked a lot is, can I talk to Stan directly? So the answer to that is absolutely. If you would like to talk to Stan directly, then all you have to do is go where, Stan?
You scroll down, there should be
right there.
Yeah, that's pretty bold, isn't it? Now, you're going to like this picture. Now, that picture has been Photoshopped, airbrushed, and it's 10 years younger. I look like crap compared to that picture right there. I'm just going to tell y'all, if y'all met me in person, that's not what I look like. That's what my wife wants me to look like, but that's the cheerful personality that I hope to have when you schedule a call. Right there. Look at that. Look at that face. Oh my God.
Said that's a face only a mother could love.
Oh, come on now. Come on. I mean, you can see the one now. Holy mackerel. I got a face for radio. I got a face for webinars.
But if you go to Stan's homepage, let me do that again. If you go to you scroll down, you're on the homepage, scroll down, click to schedule a call with Stan. You click on it. This is going to come up. You click continue, and it's going to give you a calendar.
Oh, look at that.
And all you have to do is click on the calendar time, and you schedule a call, and you'll get to talk. Now, there's only one requirement for this call to actually transpire. This is my rule. This is not Stan's rule, but I've instituted this rule.
What is that?
You must, absolutely must say what you want to talk about.
Please.
And you have to type it into the thing. You need to explain ask the questions, whatever it is, and then Stan will be prepared and you guys can have that conversation. So I think that that's one key factor. The other is, please remember that you can run a quote on here. If you find yourself running 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 quotes and you're losing consciousness,
call me.
You
need to help.
You can go to direct questions, ask direct. You can ask myself or Stan questions, and we're happy to answer them and help you through the quotes. If you want to call us, you can do that as well so that you can get the questions answered, because when you do run quotes, we actually see them, so we know what the quotes that are being run are.
We're stalking you, and you don't even know it. No, we see them come through. There was a gentleman the other night up in the upper Midwest, and he ran like 14 in a row. And I finally just, I was sitting here one night, I was writing something, I finally just emailed him like, can I help? We're here to help. I mean, if you're finding that it's not doing what you want it to do, or you want a specific quote, or there's something that you need some clarification on, help us out. In the future, I think that we're compiling all kinds of information and content that's going to fill this up. But one of the hassles, as Steve Jobs, our idol, says, it's a very complex thing to create simplicity. And what we're always trying to do is make this as simple as possible. And I know that's hard, but we're trying. You have to know that's our goal out there, is to make it simple for you. Hit me with a couple more questions, Jim. We got like 5 minutes.
I have to finish my housekeeping.
Okay, housekeeping.
The other thing is you can ask questions, but one of the things I do want to point out here is that there is not an 800 number on this website, and that's by design. We're not here to beg you to call us. We're not here to beg you to buy an annuity. We're here to help you if you want to buy an annuity, and there's a distinct difference in the process. Annuities are sold all day long to people that have no idea what they're buying. the key element of this whole thing for me is that you understand what you have, why you have it, and what you're going to do with it going forward. That's the important part. So ask the questions. All of the components of the website are really tried to be built out to help you answer your questions. I know that my beautiful wife was working on this with this part today, which is to build out the questions. As we're gathering all your questions, whether it's through these webinars, we're going to build out all these questions. You'll be able to go and be able to see hundreds of questions that you can scroll through, search through, and be able to answer questions by the same way you're asking them here. So a lot of that's coming up. So here we go, Stan. Are you ready?
Yeah, we got 5 minutes. Let's do it. We're going fast. Rapid fire.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. Rapid fire. That's the new part of our thing now. Rapid fire. Go.
I got home late. Can I get this recorded?
Yes, it'll be up tomorrow.
Okay. And to get it recorded, where do you go? You got to
Direct, go Direct News.
Go to Direct News, and you can see all of the replays are up there, so you'll be able to see all of that.
And by the way, see down the annuities.direct interview, that's me right there. See, I look a little haggard and worn out. I blame my wife of 27 years and my 2 teenage daughters. But I used to look a lot better than that.
What is the #1 reason I would buy a DIA?
Future income. You can defer a DIA 13 months to 45 years. Future guaranteed income transfer of risk, period. Simplistic. You can explain it to a 9-year-old. That's it.
What is the #1 reason I should buy a QLAC?
Future income and tax savings. And you kind of put them together. By the way, downside of QLACs, no liquidity and no accumulation value. You got to be upfront about this. There's no moving parts to it, but you're primarily going to buy it for future income. And most of the QLACs purchase, we're finding out, is for the spouse continuation of income.
All right, I'm going to paraphrase Terry's question because I don't want to make it as personal, but she was basically sold a quote-unquote dream, as you like to call it, Stan.
Oh, jeez.
But she's able to roll it out soon, and her question is there a better product that I can take streaming income that would allow me with qualified money versus evidently what she has?
Maybe, but I'm going to tell you, Terry, that you're probably stuck in the annuity that you own. And the reason I say that is if you attach any type of rider to that annuity, that valuation is not transferable, and the only way to access that valuation is to turn on an income stream. If you would like for me to take a look at what you own and give you an honest appraisal, and 70% of the time I'm going to tell you have to stay, I will tell you what you own and how to make lemonade if you have to make lemonade.
Okay. And I do think, Terry, you should take advantage of it. Obviously, it's just, you can go into the questions or you can go on and schedule a time with Stan to follow up on that.
Let me look at it.
And then a question that I think is important is, and I'm not really sure that there's a good, can you explain the difference between a MIGA and a 5-year bond?
It's apples and oranges. Honestly, bond valuation can fluctuate, as you know. MIGA valuation cannot. They both have a coupon on them, so that makes them similar. But they both fit in under the fixed, world. You got CDs, money markets, treasuries, muni bonds, and fixed rate annuities. Those are the 5 where you can protect your principal. I have nothing against bonds. I used to be a bond guru when I was at Morgan Stanley. Jim knows bonds inside and out. We're not against them. It's just about a valuation and principal protection thing. But to me, it makes sense to have both if you understand bonds.
Well, and I think the other thing that I would add to that just briefly is that when you look at a 5-year yield on a bond, a 5-year bond yield on the Treasury is less than 1%. A 5-year yield on MIGA is 3%, as we just saw. Both are guaranteed, but understand that in order to get to a 3% yield equivalent to a MIGA, you're going to have to step into a bond that carries higher credit risk in order to get that same risk or same yield. So the key is understanding the risk step up to get to equivalent yields when you're looking at year-to-year comparisons between a bond and a MIGA.
Hey, Jim, we're out of time.
I knew you were going to tell me that.
Listen, everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Check the site. We're going to do lots and lots of these going forward, but we really appreciate it. And do not hesitate to reach out and connect with us so we can help you. Take care. Have a nice evening.
Thank you guys for